Well, good Monday morning. Welcome
Good
to
morning.
July.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Margarita, your hand's up already. Did you hit it by accident or you? Oh, love that, Jen. Margarita, did you have something for us first thing? Is your hand just lingering out there?
Oh, sorry. Good morning.
Who wants to start us off with a win heading into July here? Somebody have something amazing happen over the weekend? All
I
right,
have
Keely.
I have keys to a condo for that's going up for sale.
He's still condo. Good. Good. New listings are good. Keely, what did you have?
I got in contact. I got a lead assigned to me last week from this really crotchety old man, and they're like, do you want to take this lead? He's really nasty, and I said, yeah, I'll give him a shot, sure. So I gave him I called him. We talked 40 minutes on the phone. He's from Alabama, originally from Somers, Connecticut here, and he came up yesterday, and we're looking at like $1 million homes for him tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so pretty cool.
That's awesome. Anybody else have a quick share for us? All right. I'm doing this on my laptop today, and man, I got to write down my gratitude for having a full screen. It is tough to do this on a laptop, to have my thoughts, the messages, who's on, see your smiling faces. It's just not enough real estate on this screen. But the messaging for today is around, and I don't know if this is an actual effect or just what I'm calling it, kind of like the Pinocchio effect, or Pinocchio principle, I guess would be maybe a better way to state it. Which is, if you guys remember the story, obviously he's got the issue with every time he lies, the nose grows, and unfortunately for us, when we're living our lives, there's so much going on, all the little decisions that kind of are invisible to us. And I think a lot of people can have some success if they can make the invisible visible. But kind of today, I wanted to talk a little bit about in what areas of your life and what strategies are you using to make things more visible, right? If every time you ate unhealthy food, your skin turned green, you wouldn't eat unhealthy food. But there's not really a marker per se, an immediate return that says, unhealthy food, this happened, right? Same thing goes with exercise. If every mile you ran, you were visibly stronger, maybe we'd run more. If every hour that you slept at night, or didn't sleep, I should say, you had bigger bags around your eyes, maybe you'd sleep more. And those lasted for weeks instead of, you might wake up with bags, they go away, no big deal. I can do this without much sleep. Or if we weren't hydrated, you lost some hair. Or if when you had too much screen time, your eyes turned bloodshot red. There's just all of these little things are stacking up, but there's no visibility to them. So, as I was kind of thinking through this, I feel like I'm doing some little things, and technology is helping to kind of make those invisible things more visible. And for me, I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that I'm doing that really seem to help for me, but maybe there's some things that you guys are doing or that you're not doing that you're like, you know what, I need to make these things more visible. So I jotted down like a couple of things that are pretty, I think pretty readily available. And I think a lot of people are doing it, but tracking your activity with something like maybe an Apple Watch or other wearable. And are you, hitting whatever it is, your steps activity or something that you might want. I wear my Aura ring for my sleep every night. And when I first thought about, like, do I really need these things? Do I really need an Aura ring? Because I think a lot of people think, okay, it tells you whether you had a good night's sleep or not. Well, what good does that do me? I just need to sleep better. Well, the goal behind some of the, like something like this, is where you can add in little things. You can put little tags on what was your day like, right? Did you have a late dinner? Did you exercise too late? Did you have a few drinks? Right? And so you can start to associate, hey, late night eating, late night drinking, drinking too much, late night exercising, they're affecting my sleep. And so I can start to see, how do I win my sleep with the activities from the day before? Something that I'm not using because you need a prescription, but I'm really excited to get, is a continuous glucose monitor. I've been reading a lot about these. They're going to be available to the public literally any week. Could get an email. Typically, this has been something for a diabetic, but in kind of reading some of my health and wellness people, they're like, everybody should know how sugar affects you, right? And so maybe by putting it on there and wearing it for a few weeks, maybe not the rest of my life, but for a few weeks, I can start to see how different foods are going to affect me, and maybe that'll sink in a little bit better in my brain that, hey, don't eat those things if you want continuous energy. You don't want these spikes. There's a great app out there called Aura that is trying to do this for mental health. Helps you to track like your journaling, your meditation time and stuff. And a lot of these things, like I think like the Apple Watch or the iPhone, or they try to do a lot of these different things of these tracking, just trying to put stuff in front of you. There was a meal tracking app that I used to try and really understand macros. I never understood macros. I just tried to every darn diet known to man. But I think when I used this app called Carbon to really understand the macros, right? So for like a month straight, I tracked every single food that I put into my body. And what I learned over that time is what the composition of these foods are. So kind of just put it front and center. I mean, you eat foods, you don't really think, hey, this has got more sugar, that's got more protein, but I didn't really know. And by tracking those things, that Carbon app really helped me to understand, hey, these are the things that have the protein, right? That's really what I'm trying to go after, is high protein intake if I'm trying to continuously build muscle. We had a week on finance. What are you doing to put finances in front of you? Where's your finance dashboard to get that front and center on the visibility? And then, in real estate, I think we've got the tools. I'm sure everybody could use them more, but are you using your CRM? Do you know which clients are engaging right now on your website that you should be paying more attention to, and which ones aren't? Your activities are what's going to control whether you're successful in business or not. Are you tracking your calls, your texts, your emails? And if you're not hitting the level of production that you want, are you making more of those? Do you have a dashboard? Do you look at it every day? So, I think time management when it comes to our real estate business. If you look back at your calendar every day, are you looking? Did I have meetings? Did I have prospecting time? Was I out on showings? Or I don't know what the hell I did last week. So let's just open it up a little bit. I think this, like, making things visible, for me, it really, really works. But I want to hear what you guys have to say on, hey, I started doing this, or what, I need to do more of this, or let's just open it up. How do we make the visible more invisible? Or excuse me, the invisible more visible to help us succeed? Who's got some thoughts? James.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I think it's pretty important to understand who you are when it comes to all of this stuff. I'm sure every single person on this call has tried various diets and regimens and tracking systems, and CRMs, whether it's personal or business, over the years, and we so often fail. And I've discovered for myself, I'm probably a little older than most people on here, that simplicity is the key, or understanding what works for you is the key. Not just jumping on, downloading a bunch of apps, trying to track everything you eat, which is great for you, Steve, if that works. And it works for certain personalities. For me, it never did. And I had to come down to something that was a very simple exercise regimen. Walking first thing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, long walk on Saturday, yoga 2 times a week, and 2 workouts in the park with a trainer 2 mornings a week. And that sounds like a lot, but it actually was very simple. I didn't have to track anything. I was actually interacting with a friend who was the workout coach out in the morning air, healthy and everything. I just found that I just can take off 20 pounds, 25 pounds of winter weight, which shouldn't go on in the first place, I suppose. But that works dynamite for me. And I ditched a lot of the really tough tracking things because I just couldn't keep up with it and I got demoralized. And that may apply for some people and not others.
Yeah, I definitely think, it's not going to work for everybody. And even for me, like with the food thing, I always say, like, I call learning something getting the joke, right? After 30 days, I'm like, I don't need to do this anymore. I kind of get it. I know my macros. I don't need to go this crazy, but I didn't understand it until I put it down and saw it in black and white. I didn't understand, the macros of how different foods work. So for me, a lot of times it's not doing these things forever, but it's doing them at least in a short period so that I know what's working and what's not working, and then, all right, I got the joke. I understand my macros. I understand my foods better. What else am I going to now move on to? So yeah, I think there are some things that I keep and continue to track, and some of them that I'm like, you know what, like like the sugar tracking. If I can get one of these continuous glucose monitors, I don't think I'm going to wear one forever, but I'd love to wear one for 2 to 4 weeks, really understand how putting foods in my body is going to affect my body, so that I can try and use that knowledge to then try and make it a little bit better. So who else has got some thoughts around tracking and making stuff more visible?
Good morning, everyone. I haven't tagged in a while, and when I did, I was surprised you guys were talking about food, but I'm very, very excited about it because I think balance with diet, emotion, and exercise really is the foundation for our success. So I was surprised to see that this morning, and I love it. I'm always trying to focus on, a cleaner, less junk food diet, not because of weight. I'm stick thin. I always have been, more because of mental stability. But I love my sugar and I'll run all day on it if I don't make that conscious decision not to. So I think food is literally the key to being a amazing business person, mom, friend, everything. So I'm glad that today's focus was about food. I definitely need that in life.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you kind of threw out there that, I haven't said this to my kids, but I really stress like the muscle building. But I feel like society thinks like thin equals healthy, and it's just not the case. I think, and I think Elizabeth, you were kind of alluding to the energy, really, and all of us are going to have different ways that we get that we're full of energy. That's the goal. We're clear upstairs and we're full of energies for whatever we want to go and attack. Being the great mom, being a great business person, being the great brother, sister, etc. So it's trying to figure out how do we get our energies at the highest levels every day. And I think it's a combination of all this stuff. It's sleeping, it's eating, it's exercising, it's not just what you eat, it's when you're eating it. So there's a lot that's going into it. But energy is the key. Anybody else maybe somebody that's made a change? Hey, I started tracking this and it's really helped me. Megan, I see that you put something in here that this levels. For some reason, I thought currently there wasn't anything over the counter that was available. You had to have a prescription. Two companies were releasing non-prescription CGMs. Is levels a non-prescription? You're muted if you're trying. We might have lost her. So, but if anybody that's interested, I forget the names of the two, but I've signed up for two different companies that you can do this continuous glucose stuff. But until now, it's been something that I believe you had to be obviously diabetic or pre-diabetic to be able to get one. But
I think they sell them at CVS actually. It's like the Tri Libre or something, but they're not the continuous ones. They're like the stick ones you have to prick your finger.
oh, okay.
I think you can
So
just
maybe,
get the monitor and the sticks.
yeah, I think it's the continuous one is the one that there's nothing
But
that's a counter
technically,
yet.
if you do the like 3 or 4 times a day, which is not very painful. Like I've actually done that, and you learn pretty quickly. Just like what you said, Steve, about macros, you figure out like how if you pay attention, what your body does when you feel certain way, and that sugar kind of validates that, gives you a numeric number what that thing is, and it just gives you like, oh, the aha. That's happening.
I mean, from what I'm reading about it, like our bodies are I can have a donut, somebody else can have a donut, and our levels are going to spike differently. So you need to really understand if you want to have that continuous energy and you want to be at the top of your game, you need to understand what different foods do to your body. So, all right, enough health and wellness. Let's transition. We're more than halfway through. Who's got something to share that's going to help the group real estate wise? Who's got a unique scenario going on or needs help on a deal or learned something? Jen.
I actually have a quick question. I'm going to meet a new buyer, having a consultation. He has a pre-approval VA, but it's directly from the VA. Do I still put him in touch with a lender, or is that I've only had clients with a VA that like through a lender, but he's saying it's directly from the VA.
My guess, my guess is it's Veterans United, and he thinks it's directly through the VA. But can somebody else speak to this? As I'm not aware of the VA lending.
I've had one of those actually. Yeah, that was my question. He did directly from VA, and it seemed like it's better than any other lender. But then they pre-approved him, and the next day for 550, and the next day they said, "No, we're actually not pre-approving you for 550." So I thought it would be 500, but they ended up taking it completely. Like, no, we're not pre-approving you. And then I reached out to Semper, thinking that maybe they are actually better, but they said no. Sorry, that's the thing.
Okay.
Olin, when you had
So
this,
it's
when you
really
had the situation, Olin, was it the same thing? It was actually Veterans United. It wasn't the VA direct.
Uh,
Or you-
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I understand your question. Sorry.
Okay.
So it was
So
directly through VA.
Yeah.
oh, it was. All right, Kirk, you've got your hand up. Can you speak to it?
Yeah, so the veterans benefits are through the VA, and that's where they get their documentation. But the banks have to facilitate the loan, so it is what we assume it is, which they assume it's the VA, which it's not. That's what all their paperwork says, you know. But again,
That's what I was trying to tell him, but I'll discuss it better in person with him.
yeah,
Okay.
just let them know that the lender or the bank actually facilitates the loan through your VA benefits. I would suggest this bank because they've been really good to us. Their communication is great, and blah blah blah, whatever.
Thank you guys.
KB.
So I just did a quick Google search, and there is something that says it is called VA Direct, and it says that with a VA Direct home loan, we serve as your mortgage lender, meaning you work directly with us to apply and manage your loan. It's the native program, better terms, NADL. So, I mean, to me, I would just get that approval and see what it says, Jen.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, I've always thought that normal, and for me, anytime someone has said that, it's always been Veterans United. But I Googled it real quick and that's what I found. So I don't know.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm just using my perplexity thing. It's also bringing up this Native American direct loan program. But it's a program eligible for Native American veterans. So that sounds like it might be different. And
Yeah,
then
like I
it
said,
also says
I'm driving,
the
but
VA also provides direct loans in certain areas where private financing is not generally available through VA guaranteed loan programs. The vast majority of VA loans are done through banks, though. So it looks like there's a Native American direct loan, for Native Americans only, and then if for some reason you're trying to buy in an area where banks wouldn't finance, so. So
So is this a letter just saying, verifying that they're a veteran
yeah,
and
I'm
yeah.
that
meeting today, so I'll find out more. I just wanted to know basically if he's thinking it's directly through them, that I can just guide him in the right direction. So I don't have it in front of me to answer your question. Sorry.
I'm thinking it's just a letter verifying that they're a veteran and that, the amount of benefits that they get for a loan, but then they have to go, like everybody's saying, to a bank.
Yeah, they get, I think it's called like a COE, like certificate of eligibility. That's what they're going to get from the government. And then they're going to bring that to the lender and say, hey, look, I qualify for this. Can you facilitate that loan? Good question. Good stuff. And I think we learned something new, that it looks like there might be something direct for Native Americans. I'm telling you guys, if you're not using Perplexity, this thing is unbelievable. For like real-time info. I think it's so much better than ChatGPT if you wanted to ask questions. It then links out to where did it get the information that it's sharing with you. Can't recommend it highly enough. Who else has got something? Who's got a situation, question, lesson learned? Don't do this. This happened to me. Don't make this mistake. I had jotted down where are my notes over here. Oh, you know what? Why don't I share this? Keeping Current Matters put something out. I feel like this comes up all the time when it comes to like an election year. So Keeping Current Matters put together something I'll share with you guys on what has kind of happened with election years over the years on home sales. Because I feel like that's a question that kind of always comes up. So they did like the research, but because home sales went up after 9 of the last 11 presidential elections. As I pull up this graph, and it's 7 out of the last 7 it's gone up for. And it was 1990 sales did not go up after that election, and then 1981. But the last 7, or excuse me, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? The last 8, it's actually gone up. That's the number of sales, and then the same thing has happened with pricing. 7 out of the last 8 presidential elections, prices went up. And as far as sales slowdown, it's only in the month prior to that you might see sales actually slow down. So I don't know. I feel like we always talk about, presidential years, it can be a slowdown or whatever. It definitely seems like for 1 month, you might see a drop in sales. And then most of the time, the next year, you get significantly more sales. So I wouldn't be, taking your foot off the pedal. I think you're going to see plenty of sales happening. So if anything's slowing it down, it's just high prices and high rates, but it doesn't seem like election actually does affect that much. James, you had your hand up. Did you have something?
So yeah, I just wondered, I had joined the group that long ago, so you may have covered this in detail before. Just the whole NAR settlement is coming upon us August 17th, apparently, and I looked at a lot of stuff online and attended workshops and seminars and things like that, but kind of brokerage has been very helpful in a lot of ways, but just wondering what people are finding or planning for in terms of the buyer side of things and having to have agreements in place, or whether folks think things will change all that much. I've heard quite a bit of that things are not really going to change that much at all. So just wondered what you were doing with that, Steve, or if you were doing any special forums or things like that, just with kind of knowledge. Thank you.
Yeah, I will tell you that I've really been holding off because I think the whole thing is still a mess, to be honest with you. So we haven't really changed forms or anything like that. So one of the problems that I'm seeing is all of these, boards are racing to create forms. So some of the bigger, boards, realtor boards that also own their MLSs are creating forms, they're putting them out there. And now there's like a lot of watchdog companies that are looking at these forms and going, this is not pro-consumer. You use this and we will sue you. So yeah, we're in a messy middle, which is kind of what I've been saying for a while. The best thing that I've seen is like a super transparent, very clear, form that actually EXP had put out there that seems to be getting some good reviews. So I'm going to continue to wait before we're going to use anything different. One of the things that's unique here for us in Massachusetts, where we have MLS PIN saying, hey, we're not going along with the settlement. We're not realtor owned. We are going to continue to put a compensation field in the MLS. Well, that's great. But we agreed to the settlement, which says we will not put our commissions into the MLS. So even if the field is there, I don't see how we could go ahead and put the data in there. So I still think a lot of things are going to shake out between now and August 17th. I think there's even a chance that the August 17th date gets extended because it is such a mess. So I've been kind of going with just business as usual for now. And let's wait and see how everything kind of shakes out. So I don't know if anybody has any questions on that, but that's how I'm guiding our agents to move forward here.
Thank you, Steve. I think that's right. That's what I'm doing. Much ado about nothing in a lot of ways. You see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest change is you need to do a better job with your buyers consultations. If you are not sitting down with your buyers and explaining everything that's going on and getting a deeper understanding, peeling back the onion, understanding who they are and how you can really help them, we've always coached that. I just know that most agents weren't actually doing it out in the field. We've got to be doing that. And we've got to be talking to them about everything that's going on and making sure they understand, like, we've got to get compensated. I do believe it's going to be a couple of different options. They can pay us direct. The seller can pay us, or it can be a combination of, so I don't think that's going to change. But it's definitely going to get interesting. And at the end of the day, I think the pros are still going to be pros and they're going to get compensated well to do it. I do believe commissions will get squeezed a little bit, especially on the higher end. But it's a lot of work to do our jobs, and you got to be really, really good. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. KB was calling me and she had dropped off. So I wasn't sure if there was something that she needed me to communicate to you guys that she had lost, her connection or something like that. So I wanted to take that call and make sure there wasn't something I needed to tell you guys. So, so that's kind of where we're at. But obviously, if I feel like I'm reading something or seeing something, but that's the latest that I've read. Is the biggest probably realtor board is the California Association of Realtors. They tend to be first movers. I think they might be the largest board. And they released this buyer's agreement that just got absolutely ripped apart in the public and said, anybody that uses this form, we will sue you, basically. So I was like, oh, okay. So even these realtor, it was just so much attorney lingo. It wasn't very clear to the consumer. That's what these consumer advocacy groups are looking for. Get us something that is very transparent. The buyer knows what they're signing. The buyer knows exactly the services you're going to provide. So yeah, we'll keep you guys informed and make sure you're in the best position to win for sure. So hopefully, I know we got a holiday week. I plan on going every single day. Maybe we'll take the 4th off. What is that? Thursday? Maybe we'll just take Thursday off, but every other day I plan on going. We'll make a final decision on what is that right? Tuesday. Yeah. We'll make a final decision on for Thursday by tomorrow. So I'll let you guys know, but appreciate you guys. Go have yourselves a great week and talk to you again tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Steve.
Thank you.
Bye.